Hi everyone. So this week's video is about meeting with your pupils in just a very general sense. Let's have a look what we had to say. Do you know, there's one group of people that we have meetings with that you have completely omitted out of
Pupils.
This. Oh, you did remember.
That was my next one that I was about to do because
Are they at the bottom of the heap?
They are at the top of the heap, and that is why I have left them till last, because everything revolves around that student. So
you cannot plan for a meeting with a student.
You can't plan for a meeting with a student.
Can't plan for a meeting with a student. Come off it. They go off at a tangent instantly. They're worse than you.
I think because you used to have a drop-in kind of thing for the students to kind of come along and have those kind of meetings with you just randomly, and you had a safe area as such. So let's talk about the safe area, and then let's talk about the drop-in meetings.
So, well, both. I mean, safe area and drop-in meetings, great, absolutely fine. Did used to mean I never got a lunch break. That's another story altogether. But for me, it was not necessarily about engaging with the students. I just used to sit and work most of the time, but had my ears open, because you pick up on an awful lot of things that conversations go between each other. And then they kind of feel you're a safe space, and then they'd come and share things with you. So I used to have students come and tell me things that they were worried about somebody because they weren't eating, or they were worried about somebody because they were struggling in lessons, or they knew that such and such hadn't got access to the internet at home and couldn't do their science homework, and they were going to get into trouble next lesson. So they would come and share those things with me without me having to ask them for it and prod them for it. But one of the things I learned was actually to have my notepad at the side of me to scribble things down. Not that they knew I was scribbling some of those things down, but sometimes it's just that little
reminder.
It's almost like a radar or gut instinct. You hear something and it can sound totally normal and natural, but you're thinking something's not quite right about that. And just putting down, Phoebe said, Dad hasn't been home this week.
Yeah.
On a piece of paper, just to kind of remind myself, and then trying to pick that up somewhere else.
Yeah. That's a really good way of doing things.
Students in secondary will come and request meetings with you. Students in primary, you're usually meeting with them because they're dysregulating. You may be trying to get pupil voice. Pupil voice is always interesting for me. I find it, if you put them in a group together, sometimes they shut down because they don't want to talk in front of each other. But if you try to do it one-on-one with them, they shut down because they don't want to tell you negative things. So you have to be really careful when you're trying to get pupil voice as to that mix of students that you've got. And that's why I quite liked that, that safe haven drop-in thing. Because to me, I was gathering pupil voice in a very informal way. And then occasionally I would say, hey guys, I've got a new packet of biscuits here. I've got some chocolate digestives today. Anybody want one? Come and talk to me about drop-down day last week. How did you feel about it? And I would gather their information that way. And it was just far more natural rather than, oh, guys, we're having a council meeting next week. You're going to come and tell me a pupil voice about drop-down day. Where I know they wouldn't have done it.
And Paul said it in the Sensible 24 conference that we had. He said, the key thing for all of this that underlines the whole lot is the relationship with
Relationships. That'll be your key. Because kids buy into
what they're looking for, and that allows you so much information that you wouldn't have if you didn't have that kind of relationship. So building that safe space, building that communication piece, just having those kind of conversations, and even bribing them with biscuits always will work to build that relationship with your students.
Word searches.
They
liked word searches. Weird bunch. So anything like, I think I had very good relationships with my students, not so much with staff to be fair, but I had very good relationships with students, and that then fed into good relationships with parents, and that's 90% of the battle won. The 10% of the battle with teachers usually comes down to, actually it's your job, get on with it, or you're being paid to do this, so go away and do it.
I think having that relationship with the student and then it feeding into the parents, and you said it kind of solves a lot of the battles that are there. Not that there really are too many battles, but that also then improves your whole output within your school and your capacity within the school, because you've got that relationship, and then they feel freer to kind of come along without you having to go, yes, this is the new way I have been told to talk to you, because this is going to give me information that you are going to tell me that's going to help me with all the stuff that I'm going to prove. It doesn't work. Have a friendly relationship, not too friendly, of course, because that's inappropriate, people, but have a friendly relationship with them, and just kind of have that talk, and build key relationships with those students and parents.
The other thing I think with students is to accept the fact that you are not going to have a relationship with all of them. They're not going to want a relationship with you, and that there may actually be somebody else in the school that is better at gathering their voice, gathering their information, and not to take it personally. So I think sometimes as SENCO we think that we are that person that every child can go to. And a DSL generally has that same mindset as well. Oh, every child can talk to me. I'm just really open and all the rest of it. Sometimes you are not that person that they're going to engage with for whatever reason. Maybe you remind them of their great aunt or something and they don't like their great aunt, or maybe you just have that tone of voice they don't like.
You're just too friendly, and you just feel like you're talking to somebody who is only saying these things because that's what they want you to hear, So
I really struggle with bubbly people. So there's really enthusiastic and lively, and let's have a chat about this today. It's like, yeah, no, just calm down, will you? You're making me feel ill.
Just tell me, did you just come off to CBBC? Is that the reason why you're like this? No, just be normal. Because,
but just going back to it, though, not every child's going to engage with it, and not take it personally, but that does mean that you have got to be able to hand the reins over to somebody else. You've got to be able to skill that person up to gather the right information for you, to be able to tease the right information out of the children sometimes as well. So just accepting that, I think, is really important. And like I say, I loved my drop-in sessions. I loved my safe space for students. It did mean I didn't get a break a lot of the time, but for me, giving up that break meant giving up an hour's break each day was 5 hours less work that I would have had to have done with a single individual to go and unpick some issue later on down the line. And I never made it compulsory, you have got to be in my safe space. It was always open, and even those students where you feel that they should be in there, I think they still need to have that autonomy, certainly at secondary level. Primary school, they might not have the skill set to make decisions for themselves, but certainly at secondary level, they need to have that autonomy to decide, actually today, I'm going to go and try on the playground for 15 minutes or whatever it is before I come in.
Yeah. Thank you, Abigail, for all of those insights into it.
Just some takeaways from it? The takeaway is, where possible, gather all of your data and create an agenda that is has some time blocks on it for any meeting that you are taking part in, simply because it helps you to manage your time and it helps everybody to stay focused on what the outcome is intended to be from having that meeting.
Well, that was simple, wasn't it?
Okay, so that was an interesting chat. We talked about having a safe space. Most pupils will open up to you if you have got that safe space. So not forcing that conversation on our students, rather than, having that nice gentle chat over hot chocolate at lunchtime, whatever it is you've got going on, rather than forcing them into, I want your voice so I can write it down on this piece of paper, because they will just clam up. They don't tell you what they really want to say. And very often they will tell you what they think you want to hear, rather than what they actually feel. And then gaining that pupil voice, try to do that again through that general chat. So your TAs can do it in lessons. They can have a quick chat with somebody. Oh, did you enjoy that lesson today? What did you enjoy about it? How did you find it when the teacher did that? Was that helpful, or did that make things worse for you? They can get that information, and we know then it is the actual pupil voice that is coming through. We hope you've enjoyed our series of videos on meeting with different stakeholders, and we look forward to seeing you in our future videos. Take care.